Momo and Okarun's ordeal with Turbo Granny has brought them closer, but things remain awkward between them. Okarun realizes he still has a problem. Welcome to episode 5 of Dandadan, like, where are your balls? Yeah, that's the name of the episode. So this episode is pretty interesting. The first half is pretty much like a rom-com almost, and the second half is where the actual supernatural stuff happens. So first half is mostly like slice of life, Momo and Okarun having awkward moments, and then the latter half is when the actual supernatural stuff happens. And we finally get to figure out who the cat dancing in the OP and the ending of the series is. I mean, I already know who it is, but for anyone who's just watching the anime, you finally get to figure out who this character is. So we start off the episode with Okarun being an adorable loser, where he is staking out the school gates and he's waiting to see if he can spot Momo, and he's practicing how to say hello. He's basically practicing his greetings, like he wants to make a good impression on her because he's never had anyone talk to him before, like of their own volition. He doesn't have any friends. This is the first time anyone has ever wanted to be his friend. So he has no idea how to carry conversations, how to talk. And so he's practicing his hellos. He's making a bunch of goofy faces as he's doing it. And then he notices Momo up ahead, waiting at the school gates. And that's when he feels a little bit depressed because he's like, there's no way a girl like Momo would be waiting for someone like me. She's got to be waiting for a friend. I'm just going to walk past her and just ignore her because I don't want to trouble her or her friend. So he walks past her, ignores her. She notices him, and she goes after him, and she gives him a little hip bump and starts talking about aliens. Basically, it turns out that she was waiting at the school gates specifically for him. So as they're walking through the school, Momo's just constantly talking about the aliens that had abducted her, asking Okarun his opinions on them, like, hey, what kind of aliens were they? Like, what do you think they eat? Do you think they wear underpants? Basically, just anything. And Okarun doesn't say anything in response because he has no idea how to carry normal conversations. He is just an awkward fella, so he doesn't say anything. And then they each go to their separate classrooms because time for school. And we just get moments where Okarun is just constantly kicking himself, like, why didn't I say anything? Why didn't I talk to her? Why didn't I respond to her? And the funny thing is he's writing down like all the questions that she asked him, and he's going to try to figure the answers. Like we even see him looking through his books, his magazines, trying to see if he can find any answers to her questions. We even get to see just a little bit of how school life is for Okarun, where we have like bullies like knock him to the floor. We have someone hit him in the face with a volleyball or something and don't even say sorry. Basically, he gets mistreated, but he doesn't care. He's on cloud 9 because he finally has a friend. So nothing's going to bring him down. Not only does he have a friend, but he also knows that aliens exist. And so he's just constantly looking at the clock, waiting for lunch break so that he can see Momo again, because all he wants to do is talk to her. Meanwhile, we cut to Momo, and Momo is sulking. She's sad. All she wants is to talk to Okarun about aliens. She doesn't care about classes or anything like that. She's just constantly looking at the clock, waiting for it to tick down so that she can go meet Okarun and talk to him. So I thought this was just very adorable, where the two of them just want nothing more than to see each other again. And then the bell rings, it's lunchtime, and we have basically sitcom shenanigans where they're trying to find each other, but they keep missing each other. So Okarun will go to Momo's class, but she is already on her way to his class to try to find him. They walk past the hallways, like right by each other, but there's so many students in the way that they don't see each other. One goes to the cafeteria while the other one goes outside, and then the one outside goes into the cafeteria while the one in the cafeteria goes outside. And eventually they just both take a break at a bench outside, right next to each other, but with like a pathway in between, and they don't notice each other. So the entire time they've been trying to find each other. They've been sad that they haven't been able to find each other. They're sad that lunch is almost over and they haven't been able to find each other. And they're literally just a few feet away from each other. Eventually they give up. They decide to head into class. And this is when they have their first kiss. But it's accidental. They walk right into each other, end up smashing lips and teeth. And basically realize, oh, where were you? I was trying to look for you. Here's the thing that I really like about these two is that they actually communicate. So rather than not saying anything and both of them thinking that the other one was purposely going out of their way to not see them, they both admit, no, like I looked all over the place for you. Oh, me too. I was looking all over the place for you as well. So they actually communicate that, hey, I wanted to see you. I wanted to talk to you again. Unfortunately, this sweet moment gets broken up by Momo's two friends who spot them and notice that they had touched lips. And basically they're like, oh, Momo, you two are going out with each other? And Momo is completely flustered and embarrassed. And the first thing she does to deny it is basically kind of make fun of Okarun. And then Okarun, of course, gets pissed off about that and he starts yelling back at her. And so the two of them yell at each other before they walk their separate ways. And then we cut to Okarun. He's at the urinal and he's thinking about, all I wanted was just to talk to her. Maybe I should go apologize. And that's when he notices something. And he looks down at his junk. And yeah, we cut to the next scene. This is different than in the manga. In the manga, we had the infamous panel where he just looks down and he's like, my balls are gone. So yeah, Okarun has lost his balls. His wiener's there, but his balls are gone. We cut to Momo, and Momo is like in her head. She's like, I shouldn't have said those things to him. Those were kind of mean. But outside, she's just being quiet as a bunch of girls surround her, and they're basically asking like, hey, who's your new boyfriend? Like your friends said that you were caught kissing someone. And Momo's just trying to deny it and stuff. And then her friend's like, oh, here he is right now. And then we see Okarun. Okarun is like, Momo, I really need to talk to you. It's very, very serious. And Momo keeps, she's putting up a front. She's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Because she doesn't want the other girls to think that they're dating. So while her true feelings are, I want to talk to this guy, she has to put up an act. And she goes a little bit too extreme and basically says some nasty things. And so he just walks away dejected. And even Momo's friends are like, you didn't have to be that harsh with him. Like, what's going on? And Momo's sad because she realizes that she was kind of a dick to him. And so we cut to after school where Okarun's walking down the hallways and he's like, I wonder if Momo went home by herself. And that's when he bumps into Ira. And Ira is going to be an important character for anyone who hasn't read the manga. Without spoiling anything, I'll just say this. You're going to hate her at first. And even judging by this episode, you're probably already going to hate her. But you're going to love her before this season ends. She is an amazing character and she has a really amazing character arc. So even if you hate her now, just put up with it. Just trust that the author knows what he's doing. This isn't going to be your typical cliche bully character. This is a character that is going to grow and is going to become an amazing character down the road. Yeah, he bumps into her and she puts up this act of being like super nice and stuff. She kind of compliments Okarun. She touches his arm and stuff like that. As she's being very nice and flirty with Okarun and giving him bashful smiles, Momo is walking down the hallway and she's bummed out. And she realizes like, you know what? I was very mean to Okarun. I really need to apologize to him next time I see him. And up ahead, she sees Okarun and Ira laughing at some kind of joke or something. And she has her arm on Okarun. And so Momo's a little bit jealous, and she's also kind of shocked because she's like, I didn't think anyone would talk to Okarun. And so she's just standing there watching, and then eventually Ira leaves Okarun and is walking with her friend. And as Ira passes Momo, Momo hears a conversation that Ira is having with her friend, where she's like, that otaku has such a dumb look on his face. He totally fell for me back there. I bet no girl has ever talked to him before. I bet no girl as cute as me will ever touch him again. It's so fun when scum like that fall for you. Basically, it was all an act. And Momo gets pissed off that she did that to Okarun. So she uses her psychic powers to drop a water basin on top of Ira and knock her to the floor. Ira has no idea what happened. No one has any idea what happened because, again, Momo used her psychic powers. Momo rushes over to Okarun, hugs his arm between her chests, and basically says, hey, Okarun, let's go home together. And she's saying this out loud so Ira hears. Momo says, oh, you're really looking sharp as usual with those glasses. Because Ira was making fun of Okarun and his glasses earlier to her friend. And Momo is basically saying this out loud so that Ira can hear. And she says, I guess stupid girls will never understand your charm, Okarun. And we even see her kind of like shoot a nasty glare at Ira as she says, some are more fit to have wash tub falling on their heads than guys falling for them. So Ira realizes that maybe Momo has something to do with what happened to me. Or if nothing else, Ira is aware that Momo is aware of the act that she tried to pull on Okarun. That's going to play a part later on. I won't spoil how though. But once again, we have them walking home together. And as I said before, they actually communicate. We actually have them talking where they say, like, hey, in the courtyard after that incident, that was like a kiss and I just got flustered. The truth is that I really do want to talk to you. Like, I'm sorry for the way I reacted. I was just very embarrassed. And I'm not embarrassed of being friendly to you, Akarun. I was just embarrassed about the situation. And Akarun, it's like, oh no, I understand. It makes me very happy that I could make amends with you. This is something that like I freaking love because communication. I read all kinds of manga, including romance. And one of the things that I hate about romance, thankfully it's been somewhat getting improved upon, but one thing that I hate is when characters do not communicate. So you have a situation that gets overblown and it takes a bunch of chapters to fix and amend when a simple sentence would have fixed everybody's problems, but they have to drag it out. Thankfully, no, these characters actually communicate. Momo straight up tells them, like, hey, I reacted the way I did because I was embarrassed because of the thing that felt like a kiss, like when our mouths touched. And I just got really flustered, and that's why I said the things I did. But I didn't mean them. I'm not embarrassed to be around you. And even Awkward was like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I like hanging out with you and stuff. Like, they talk to each other. This is great. Another interesting thing for anyone who is unaware, the mangaka, Tatsu, when he was coming up with Dandadan, basically a lot of the stuff that Tatsu has done before and worked on was very, like, kind of like depressing and gritty and violent and stuff. It was kind of dark. And Dandadan was just something that he came up with while talking to friends after getting rejected for like other pieces of works. His editor basically came up to him and was like, hey, here's some romance mangas that I recommend. Go read them so you can kind of get an idea of how humans interact with each other. So you can get an idea of how this guy and this girl will interact with each other. And Tatsu did. Not only did he read the ones that were recommended, but he ended up reading a bunch. Like, he got hooked on romance novels, and he read, like, according to him, he could be exaggerating, obviously, but he says, like, I read over 100 manga series just so that he can really nail down the interactions between Momo and Okarun. And I think it's awesome because it very much helped. Yeah, interactions with these two characters are, to me, the biggest selling point. As much as I love like the action and battle stuff, there are series out there that have like a lot of cool action scenes, but the characters just, you don't really care for them. So the series is just kind of like, I'll flip through it for the action scenes, but other than that, I don't really care. For me, the reason I love Dandadan so much is the characters. The characters first, and then all the cool action and demons and ghosts and aliens and stuff comes second. But specifically, interactions between Okarun and Momo. That's the biggest selling point to me. And yeah, I love the fact that these two characters actually communicate with each other. Yeah, we have a moment where Momo's basically apologizing and kind of blaring her heart and soul. And Okarun's like, I understand. There's something really important I need to talk to you about. And of course, Momo was like upset because she's like, I was agonizing a lot about this and you're just completely brushing it off. And Okarun's like, no, this is very, very important. It's missing. And Momo's like, what are you talking about? And Okarun points to his junk and he's like, my balls. It's gone. And then we immediately jump cut to Momo laughing her ass off at her house. So basically, yeah, Momo's laughing her ass off about the fact that Okarun doesn't have his balls. Seiko is there and she's like, how did you not notice that they were gone before? He's like, well, I was just so excited that I got my wiener back that I never noticed that my balls were gone. And we even have like a moment where Seiko is like, I told you should have shown it to me. Besides, why are you so embarrassed about it? You probably got nothing but a pencil dick anyways. I was like, man, you don't gotta be so rough on my boy. Seiko basically grabs a mirror and she holds it around Okarun. She's like, there's something inside of you. Momo, go get a figurine and go get a basin of water. So we cut to Okarun sitting down with his bare feet in a basin of water, and we see a figurine. It's the cat figurine with a talisman on it sitting on the table. And Seiko just pulls out a paper fan. She just starts whacking Okarun while yelling the weirdest insults. Like, she's basically calling Okarun a rotten tangerine as she slaps him over the head. And of course, Okarun's like, what the hell are you doing? You're just goofing off at this point, right? And Momo's like, actually, I see something. Like, right when Granny hit you, I saw some kind of weird spark in you. So Seiko's like, all right, I'm going to hit him again. Right when I do, Momo, I want you to use your powers to grab the spark and pull it out. And so Seiko whacks him over the head. Momo uses her powers to pull out the spark. And the pulling of the powers even ends up throwing Okarun to the floor. And Momo's like, was that it? Like, did we get it? And that's when they notice the figurine and the talisman on it burns away. And so everyone just stares at the figurine for a moment. The figurine's eyes look up and then the figurine bolts. So the cat just starts running away and everyone starts chasing after it. And Momo is able to use her aura seeing abilities to find where the cat's hiding. It's hiding inside a storage room. And so they go and they confront the cat. And the cat's just on the ground screaming about how it's going to kill all three of them. And Momo is just making faces and taunting this thing. I freaking love Momo. She is just... The fact that she just constantly taunts all of her enemies is just... It's hilarious. But they're like, what is this thing? Like, why is it talking? Why was it inside Okarun? And that's when Seiko reveals what it was. And for anyone who hasn't guessed it, it's Turbo Granny. So yeah, the cat is Turbo Granny. Turbo Granny, without spoiling anything, Turbo Granny is an amazing character. She is one of my favorites in this entire series. But yeah, Mom was like, but I thought we defeated Turbo Granny. And Turbo Granny is like, shouldn't underestimate your elders. Basically explains what happened. And we get a flashback when Turbo Granny was going through the barrier that Seiko had set up and was burning away. We saw like a brief moment where it looked like Turbo Granny was trying to escape from the crab, or at least like we saw her pulling away from the crab as she disintegrated. What happened was she was actually able to shoot her soul out of the crab and into Okarun. But because she did this as she was like moments away from death, her power is very, very like low. So no one was able to sense Granny within Okarun. And she was basically going to bide her time until she had regained her powers, and then she would get revenge. But because Okarun noticed that his balls were missing, she got found out. And so she tells Okarun, if you want your balls back, kill these two. Go get a knife and stab them. And Momo's like, we're the ones with the advantage here. Don't be telling anyone what to do. And even Okarun's like, yeah, that's right. And he like waves a talisman in front of Granny. He's like, give me my balls back. And Granny basically reveals, you can't kill me. If you kill me, then he will never get his balls back. I have the advantage. I have the high ground. And she even tries to get Okarun to like transform. Like she tries to control him. And he does transform into his Turbo Granny form. But he is in complete control. And Seiko even explains that when Momo was pulling the soul out of Okarun, because Granny was fighting so hard to stay inside Okarun, only her consciousness was pulled out and put into the cat, while her powers remained within Okarun. So now Granny's nothing more than a stuffed cat, while Okarun has all her powers. And so Granny just, we see her like just start sweating, and she gets pissed off, and she starts yelling and cursing, and then Seiko gets pissed off at Granny and starts beating the crap out of her with her paper fan. And as that's happening, Okarun just basically explains Momo that when Turbo Granny ordered me to kill you two, I just kind of snapped. And that's how I was able to transform. And that's when Momo like gets kind of like an idea. And she tells Turbo Granny, okay, you're really petty, but to be honest, I can't really hate you. Because the feeling of sympathy for those girls is the same after all. Basically, Momo had sympathy for the spirits of the girls that were killed in terrible ways that Turbo Granny was always trying to protect. And she's like, we share the same sympathy there. There's got to be some kind of good within you. So how about we be friendly here? We can make a deal. And the deal is you give Okarun his balls back and we'll return you your powers. And Turbo Granny, she's like, oh, you damn punks. Okay, fine. Basically, Turbo Granny's a huge tsundere, and that's going to be a character trait throughout the series, where she's a tsundere who like reluctantly helps out. But yeah, Turbo Granny is awesome. The mom was like, all right, sweet, it's settled. So hurry up and give him his balls back. And Turbo Granny's just like, they're not here. You know, I didn't lie. I dropped his balls somewhere. I have no idea where they're at. And that's how the episode ends. Yeah. Okarun doesn't have any balls. Turbo Granny dropped them somewhere. They're going to have to try to find them. The balls are going to have a huge impact in the series. It's not just like a throwaway gag or anything like that. Okarun's balls play a very, very, very important role in this series. But yeah, there you go. There's the reveal of who the cat is. It's Turbo Granny. I love this episode. I thought it was awesome. I like the first half was just basically your typical slice of life rom-com. And then the second half was like the complete opposite, where we just had, talking cats and missing balls and stuff like that. I love these characters. I love the fact that Momo and Okarun communicate with each other. Like it's such a simple thing, but it's something that when I watch other series, it just drives me crazy. Whereas like just tell this person how you feel. Like just straight up tell them like, hey, I didn't mean to ignore you, but I was feeling embarrassed. Or hey, I wasn't purposely ignoring you. I was actually trying to find you and I just kept looking in the wrong places. Just something as simple as that solves so many problems. So you don't have a lot of unnecessary drama. Because that's the thing. I completely understand having drama in your story. You got to have drama in your story. Even if it's a comedy, you got to have dramatic moments. For the most part. I mean, there are some stories out there that really don't have all that much going on. But your best stories have some drama in there. What I hate is unnecessary drama. I hate drama that can easily be fixed by one sense. By one character just saying something and then everything gets fixed. And when you drag that out, it just becomes very annoying. So I love that Dandadan doesn't have that issue. These characters communicate with each other. They talk to each other. All the characters are very well written. Even the characters that seem to fit a certain trope, you learn more about them. Like, for example, Momo. Momo is your typical Gyaru girl who has a crush on the bad boy kind of character. And then you look more into her and you realize that, no, she actually has a completely different personality. Like, she has her girly side, but she can also be very badass. She loves taunting her foes. She's very, very smart. Like, she comes across like she could be kind of naive because most Gyarus in anime series are portrayed as very dumb. But Momo is like able to come up with tactics that work out in the end. Okarun, for example, he's not your typical like a nerd that's just completely obsessed with the UFOs. I mean, he is, but we also see like he wants to be friends. Like that's the thing that he wants the most is to have a friend. And we just see his struggles and his social anxiety and the fact that he doesn't know how to talk to people because he's never had that chance before. All these characters are set up and portrayed a certain way, but then they get more and more layers. To quote Shrek, they're basically onions, where they have a bunch of layers, and it's not just what you see on the outside. Ira is one of those characters. She's gonna be portrayed as like a pretty terrible bully at first, but there's more to her than just what you see. I won't spoil it other than that, but you'll see what I mean. Like every character has more to them. Like even Turbo Granny. Turbo Granny could have just been some crazy foe that they fight in the first couple episodes, but then you see that, oh, she was actually, while she had her moments, she was actually trying to like protect the souls of young girls and stuff. There's more to her. And now that you see her in the cat form, you're going to see more of her, and you're going to realize that there's actually more to Turbo Granny, and you're going to see Turbo Granny have a character arc as well. Basically, every character here has a character arc, and it's amazing. And I can't wait for those of you who only watch the anime to see these characters grow and stuff. But yeah, I love this. Even though this was like very minimal in the action, this was awesome. I love the slice of life rom-com that we got in the first half. I like the craziness that we got in the second half. And yeah, this is an amazing series so far. I'm absolutely loving this anime. This is one of my favorite animes that I've seen. Not only just this year or in the past few years, but like ever. So anyways, there you go. There's episode 5 of Dandadan. Like, where are your balls? I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.